It's not genetics, and you haven't tried everything. Because you know what you haven't tried? Tracking your food. No, you don't own a food scale. You know, you have never tried to do? Follow a meal plan longer than 30 days. Get on the scale and actually weigh yourself, even though you don't like seeing the number, taking pictures of yourself. Have you actually set out on a mission, on a journey to change and shift your body? Have you actually hired someone that tells you exactly what you need to do to see the results? Because it's science. It's literal math at this point. It is. These lies that you're telling yourself, it's keeping you stuck. Get in a calorie deficit, track your food, track your weight, take pictures, give it 60 to 90 days of doing the same exact thing every single day, move your body, and watch what happens.
Oh, well, good news, everybody. We've apparently solved weight loss. Genetics? Nah. Individual circumstances? No, we don't need them, according to Kelsey Rhae. If you're struggling, apparently you're just lying to yourself because it's literal math. Oh, God, this is going to be a lot. And unfortunately, there's things in these videos that I'm going to show you today that are true. Parts of them, small parts of them. There's also things that are completely false, as we have been known to see from Kelsey Rhae. And there's a lot of things that desperately need more context. So what do you say? Let's add some. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin Bies. I'm a certified personal trainer and a fitness nutrition specialist, and soon to be precision nutrition level 1 certified as well. I feel like I said certified a whole lot. Today, we're going to be talking about Kelsey Rhae and some fitness and nutrition advice that she's been giving her audience lately. Here's the thing. If you're getting your health and fitness information online, I think it's important to understand the difference between, hey, this is a tool that might help you, and hey, this is what you have to do or you're doing it completely wrong. It's really, really important that we learn how to differentiate those two. And somewhere along the way today, we're also going to have to discuss the bagel incident. I don't want to discuss the bagel incident, but we're going to have to. You'll know here shortly. Anyways, let's get into it.
No, cleaning your house does not constitute as exercise. I don't care how much you move. I don't care how much you sweat. I don't care how hard it might feel. Cleaning your house or other people's houses, or working a nursing job, or constantly being on your feet, or constantly moving around does not constitute as exercise. I don't know who needed to hear that. Get your ass into the gym.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of what we're going to be talking about, debunking, and adding a ton of context to, because I think I know the point that she's trying to make here. She's doing it terribly, but if you're saying that, if she is saying that cleaning your house isn't necessarily a substitute for structured resistance training, I can see where she's coming from. If your goal is to build muscle and get stronger, I'm obviously not going to program vacuuming the living room for 3 sets of 12, but she didn't say that. And that's the problem, one of the many problems I have with what she says online. She said she doesn't care how much you're moving, how physically demanding your job is, whether you're constantly on your feet, it doesn't count, according to her. And that is where I feel like she's lost the plot. There is a big difference between physical activity / movement and structured exercise. Not every form of movement has to be a gym workout to be beneficial. And I especially don't love telling someone working a physically demanding job that all of the movement they're doing throughout the day basically doesn't matter because they didn't get their ass to the gym. It absolutely matters. Now, does that mean somebody with a very active job automatically meets every recommendation for cardio and resistance training? No, but that's the nuance in this discussion today. Your body doesn't have a little scanner at the entrance of Planet Fitness that activates the health benefits of movement once you walk through the door. Movement absolutely counts, which brings us to...
It's like, I need to get some sleep if I'm going to be getting up at 6 o'clock, because full transparency, this past week, maybe 2, has been total shit for me. My upper back, I can tell like maybe there's a disc that's bulging or something's going on because it just doesn't feel right. So I haven't been doing upper body. The last time y'all saw me post my back day was the last time I did it, which was like a week maybe ago, week and a half. I don't know. So that's depressing. And I haven't been getting up and doing my morning walk. That's why you haven't seen it. I've just been doing longer walks on the treadmill. We also have the walking pad now in here, so we're gonna get, I cannot continuously look like this if I'm walking outside for 10,000 steps. It's too hot for that, so.
What? Okay. The irony. You guys already know I'm very pro walking over here. If you are able to walk, I think it's a fantastic way to introduce movement into your day. Not because walking is magical. I just think that walking has so many benefits. Is it strength training? No. And not everybody should be getting 10,000 steps. There's so many factors at play here. Walking is an accessible form of physical activity that can be incredibly useful. But what's especially funny about this is that Kelsey Rhae suddenly was dismissing movement if you have a very active job or you're on your feet all the time. And then she's featuring something like this. Ma'am, you bought a whole walking pad. We're talking about morning walks. Do y'all remember when she was wearing the weighted vest and talking about getting 10,000 steps in? Do y'all remember when she was walking nonstop everywhere? So did walking stop counting when you stopped being in your walking era, Kelsey Rhae? Because that's not how physiology works. And this is exactly why I don't like these absolute type statements. Walking and strength training do very different things. You can walk, you can strength train, you can do cardio, you can clean your house, you can have an active job. These things don't have to fight each other for custody of the word movement. And if walking is what you can do consistently right now, fantastic. Please go for your walk. That's awesome. Let's see what else she has to say, you guys.
It's not genetics, and you haven't tried everything. Because you know what you haven't tried? Tracking your food. You know what you don't own? A food scale. You know what you have never tried to do? Follow a meal plan longer than 30 days. Get on the scale and actually weigh yourself, even though you don't like seeing the number, taking pictures of yourself. Have you actually set out on a mission, on a journey to change and shift your body? Have you actually hired someone that tells you exactly what you need to do to see the results? Because it's science. It's literal math at this point. It is. These lies that you're telling yourself, it's keeping you stuck. Get in a calorie deficit, track your food, track your weight, take pictures, give it 60 to 90 days of doing the same exact thing every single day, move your body, and watch what happens.
Let's play a little game, shall we? The options here are true, false, or needs true, false, or needs context. A calorie deficit required for weight loss. That's true. Tracking your food can help you create and maintain one. Also true. For some people, a food scale can help make you tracking food more accurate. True. Genetics don't matter. False. You haven't actually tried to lose weight unless you've weighed your food, weighed yourself, taken pictures, and followed a meal plan? No. And weight loss is literal math. Well, that requires a lot of context. Energy balance absolutely matters. That doesn't mean human beings are calculators. There are biological, behavioral, environmental, and individual factors affecting both sides of that energy balance equation, and more importantly, affecting how easy or difficult it is for someone to consistently maintain a calorie deficit. So yeah, we can teach someone about calorie balance without looking at a person who's struggling and saying, these are the lies that you're telling yourself. I don't think shame makes nutrition education more scientifically accurate. I think it actually makes it worse. The behaviors that somebody is going to take on or reverse into, if you will, if I guess that's the best way I want to say that, due to shame style coaching, it's not a good thing. It's going to push them in the opposite direction. People deal with enough shame. They don't need to be shamed into following a meal plan or whatnot. Anyways, let's see what else she has to say. This is my favorite one, actually. And why is it my favorite one? Because she's filming at the YMCA. Now, one thing I know about the YMCAs in the United States is that they don't like filming inside of their facilities. And allegedly, she has been counseled about that. But yet, here she is filming in a private room in the YMCA in, I can't remember the name of the city, but it's in South Carolina. Summersville? I don't remember. But anyways, let's see what she has to say.
Here are 3 things that are probably killing your fat loss journey and you have no idea. Hi, I'm Kelsey and I help women over 30 get shredded without spending hours in the gym doing cardio or restricted dieting.
I'm sorry, what? What do you mean? You help? Did she say hundreds or thousands? Because she uses those interchangeably. I know how many people I've coached. I know how many people I'm currently coaching. I don't have to embellish those numbers as we see here. Let's also point out the obvious. She is not a certified personal trainer. She is not somebody that is certified in nutrition to help you get shredded. Now, I help people get strong. I help people get confident in the gym. I help them with habit-based coaching and introducing step-by-step, little by little things that they are able to and willing to do consistently. And that is so important when we're talking about somebody changing their health. But I just want to point out the fact, who is she helping get shredded? Okay. All right.
If that's you, drop the word ready in the comments and let's get you started today. Number one, the fats that you're using when cooking, your oil, your butter, those are 9 calories per 1 gram of fat. You do the math.
Did you also know that fat is important for hormone health? Yeah. So the whole 90s conversation with, everything being low fat, no fat, you require fat in your diet. One, it helps you feel full and typically tastes really good. Think of like avocados, or if you're cooking with olive oil, different sauces. We know she's a fan of like ranch and mustard. And I digress. Let me stop. I like ranch too, but in moderation. Okay. Somebody should tell Kelsey Rhae that. Anyways, fats are important for the diet. Period.
Number two, full sugar sodas, sauces, coffees. Those have so many calories. You're probably in a surplus just from consuming those.
That is probably very true. She should probably take her own advice, especially when we're talking about sauces. But if you are making the switch, if there's one thing that you're wanting to change about your diet, your nutrition, and you're somebody that drinks, I'm going to call them fully leaded sodas, non-diet sodas. It has a lot of glucose in them, a lot of calories typically. So one of the ways that you can swap them is to go with a diet soda. Y'all already know I'm a fan of Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. And if you saw last week's stream or this week's stream where what company is it? Oh, she's a Nueva. Yeah. The video before this, the stream before this, she was coming for Diet Coke and saying that, oh, well, if you're drinking a Diet Coke, you might as well be drinking the real thing, a fully caffeinated and sugar Coke. Wrong. But if you're looking to make a simple swap, that's one step, one habit that you can start introducing to cut back on your calories, swapping a regular Coke for a Diet Coke or a regular Dr. Pepper for a Dr. Pepper Zero. I'm a fan of the strawberries and cream. Y'all already know. Those are great swaps.
Number three, not owning a food scale. You cannot possibly just trust your eyes to tell you whether or not you're consuming one serving. You need to track with a food scale. Weigh your food.
No. You don't. A food scale is a tool, and it can be a really useful tool for many people. I personally track my food. I personally weigh my food, but I have very specific goals that I'm trying to obtain. I have clients who track their food, but you absolutely do not need to weigh every gram of food you eat in order to lose weight or to just become more nutrition conscious. Let me give you an actual alternative. Precision Nutrition has something called the hand method the hand portion method. And I've talked about it a few times on my channel, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Your hand becomes your portion guide. Your palm becomes the protein. Your fist is the amount of vegetables. Your cupped hand is the carbohydrates, and your thumb equals the amount of fats that you should have on a plate. And one of the things that I really like about this is that your hand is proportional to you. It goes everywhere with you. You don't have to bring a food scale to a restaurant. It gives you a consistent starting point without requiring you to know exactly how many calories are sitting on your plate. It's a general starting framework and can be 1 to 2 portions from each of those categories at your meals. But here's the important part. It's a starting point. You adapt it. Maybe you need more food because you're extremely active. Maybe your goal is fat loss. Maybe you're maintaining. Maybe you're trying to gain muscle. Maybe you're trying to gain weight. Maybe you're hungrier at certain times of the day. You start somewhere, monitor what's actually happening over time, and then make the adjustments. If your goal is fat loss and your trend isn't changing after you've been consistent for a while, we can adjust the portions. Maybe we slightly reduce a carb or fat portion somewhere. We don't immediately need to go, well, better weigh the lettuce, because this is coaching what I'm explaining. I really want to emphasize something else here. Food tracking is not appropriate for everybody. And also, weighing yourself regularly is not appropriate for everybody. If weighing and tracking your food is causing significant anxiety, obsession, guilt, or it's feeding an unhealthy preoccupation with calories, dieting, food, or even your body, that is not something that I would suggest forcing yourself to do because somebody online said that you have to do it in order to be successful. Those types of behaviors can be warning signs that somebody's relationship with food and weight need more support and not more rigid rules. And if you have a current or previous eating disorder, this is definitely something I would suggest that you discuss with a qualified professional that can be involved in your care. Tracking is not morally superior. Not tracking is not lazy. They are tools. The question is this tool actually helping this person? I will say, if you're somebody that is trying to lose weight and you know that you're somebody that likes your oils, your butter, sausage, sugary drinks, fancy coffees. I mean, I make mine in my Nespresso and I froth some milk with some sugar-free syrup. Let me know how you make your coffee at home. Anyways, some of those things that I just listed contain calories, and sometimes those calories add up pretty quickly depending on how you are preparing them, etc. So if somebody is trying to figure out why their intake is higher than they realized, those can absolutely be places worth looking. Kelsey Rhae saying, well, you're probably in a calorie surplus just from consuming them. We don't know that. Someone can drink a full sugar soda and still be in a calorie deficit. I know, that's crazy. Kelsey Rhae is not ready for that conversation. Someone can put butter on their toast and still lose weight. Right? The presence of a calorie-dense food doesn't tell me what somebody's total energy intake looks like over a period of time. And again, it's a tiny kernel of partial truths with an absolute conclusion that she's delivering online here. And that is the pattern that I really want to talk about today. All right, we're moving right along. Let's look at the next video.
I'm going to get Gabe, and then we're going to come back, I think, for dinner, because I don't know why, but I've been hungry. So I've been front loading my calories. If you don't know what that means like basically eating a lot of your calories in the first half of the day. I've been doing that for a few days. My breakfast was egg whites and grits and a banana with peanut butter.
Okay, I want to be careful with this one because eating more of your calories earlier in the day can be an intentional strategy that works for some people. Remember, we're talking about tools and how some tools can work really well for some people and not for others. There's nothing inherently wrong, in my opinion, with eating more in the first part of your day, but I think we need to look at the whole picture here and who we're talking about specifically, because based solely on what she's describing here and what we have seen her and Eric Caraway do in the past, I don't know that that's what we're watching here. What I feel like she is describing, and again, this is my opinion, sounds more like she's been hungry, she's eaten more earlier in the day, and now she's realizing, in my opinion, that a larger portion of her planned calories have already been eaten. So dinner will have to be smaller, which is not the same thing as intentionally choosing a front-loaded eating pattern, as she referred to it as. And I am choosing my words very carefully here because Eric and Kelsey Rhae have publicly shown some very extreme back and forth behaviors, if you know what I mean, around eating and dieting before. I'm not qualified to diagnose them. I'm not attempting to diagnose them. You guys know why, right? But I also don't want to take a pattern of eating a lot, realizing that you've eaten a lot, and then feeling like you need to compensate later and dress that up as some kind of a sophisticated nutrition strategy, because I don't think that it is. Eating more earlier in the day isn't a problem, in my opinion. Eating less later because you're genuinely less hungry, not necessarily a problem. But what I care about is the pattern overall and the mindset surrounding it. If you're regularly feeling like you have to make up for something you ate, if you're constantly bouncing between extremely rigid dieting rules and feeling out of control around food, or you're exercising because you feel like you have to compensate for eating, that is something that I feel like is very much worth paying attention to. Not something that you need to slap some sort of a term on necessarily, but definitely something to pay attention to, and maybe something that you should talk with a licensed medical professional about, in my opinion. Okay, we have to talk about the bagel. So you'll see why I'm so hesitant to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. Get ready.
Good morning. My kids woke up at 5:45 this morning. Callie actually got in my bed at like 1:30 last night. And then I already knew that was going to be a disaster this morning. But nonetheless, I'm going to eat... Eric made homemade bagels. These are homemade. There's like a caramel drizzle or something on top. I don't think it is a caramel drizzle, but like, that's not one with the caramel drizzle. I want to eat half a bagel, and then I'm also gonna look at that. Oh my god!
No, God!
What? Now, I may have paused this too soon, and you'll see why here in just a second. I was hoping that that would be the bagel that she was going to eat. Because, I mean, you lick the bagel, it's your bagel, whatever. Do what you want, you're eating it. I was not prepared for what comes next.
Y'all, I can't. This man be whipping it up for real. But I'm going to eat one of these and...
No, God, please, no, no!
Did you just lick the bagel and then put it back in the container? Kelsey Rhae, there are other people that live in that house with you. That's what I have. That's what I have for this video. I'm uncomfortable. I think that is so foul. And I know I saw a video where she was like, my kids don't care. My husband doesn't care. It's gross. That is nasty. Oh my God. I can't.
And then, trying to figure out which one of these got the sauce on it. I think it's this one.
You can lick all of them?
But yeah, my kids woke up early AF, and...
Well, that's that. You know why I kept that at the end, right? Because it's a lot. Ugh. Anyways, here's what I hope that you guys take away from today's video. Kelsey Rhae actually says a couple things from these clips that have some truth behind them. A calorie deficit absolutely matters for weight loss. Food scales can be useful for some people. Calories from oils and drinks count. Although they are oils, well, fats in general are very, very important for the diet. Monitoring that and making sure you're not consuming too much, important. Walking is something that she has herself incorporated, but also in this video has said that that doesn't count. The whiplash that this woman gives us online is absolutely insane. Front loading calories can be a perfectly reasonable strategy if it works for you. The problem for me is the absolutes. Doesn't count. You need to. You haven't tried everything. It's not genetics. Get your butt in the gym. That's not good health education. Good education tells people what we know, what we don't know, and what depends on the individual and what tools are available to them. And this is why I want you to be really careful when you come across stuff like this online, when they are talking about food, exercise, and or your body. Confidence is not a credential. Speaking in absolutes does not make somebody more knowledgeable, and making health and fitness sound harder, stricter, or even more shame-filled than it actually should be doesn't make the advice more effective. You are allowed to find an approach that works the best for you. Maybe you love tracking your macros. Awesome. Maybe you hate it, and hand portions, like I mentioned earlier, are something that might feel better to you. Awesome. Maybe you love lifting weights. I obviously support this life choice as well, as you guys all know. Maybe you're starting with walking because that's what's realistic for you right now. Go for your walk. I love that. Your body does in fact know that you moved, even if Kelsey Rhae doesn't count it. And please, for the love of everything, if you lick the bagel, that's now your bagel. Okay? Don't be weird. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, everybody.